Okay, well, I'm Barbara Lynn Probst, and I'm excited to introduce Queen of the Owls to you. Now, Teresa said we could do this in our pajamas, but I'm choosing to do it in my Queen of the Owls shirt instead. So this is my book coming out April 7th. There are no owls in it, but it is the story of a woman's search for her true self behind all the roles that we play of wife, mother, daughter, colleague. Really, how can I be my whole authentic self? And what's really cool about it is that it's framed around the art and life of painter Georgia O'Keeffe. And so here I am in my office, and what's really funny is I had this picture up for years before I realized it was even an O'Keeffe painting. So one of the things Therese suggested we talk about was the story of how the book came to be and how long it took to write it. And it's really kind of funny because I was working on a different book. And it was a book that was not working at all, but I was determined not to waste all that time. So I signed up for a course with our very own Catherine Kraft and went to the first session and realized that no, this wasn't going to work. And I had no story. And Catherine will remember my email with the 47 exclamation marks, help, I have no story. So I was like empty. People were suggesting prompts, ideas. That just is not how I work. And I was kind of faced with this void. And I can't tell you exactly what happened, but the story found me. It wasn't that I invented it. And all sorts of things happened, serendipitous, wild, coincidental bits of luck that made me know this was the story that I needed to write. So the actual writing of it took actually less than a year, but it was quite an extraordinary experience. So another thing Therese mentioned to us was how this book stretched me as a writer. And I thought about that because every book does. And what this one did for me was thanks to my other mentor, Sandra Schofield, who had read an early draft. And she said, why did you have to make the husband such a jerk? Why do the two sisters have to be so snarky? Why don't they love each other? And she pushed me to find the part of each character that I could love and respect and honor so that there are no villains. People are limited. People may not be bringing out the best in my protagonist, or she may not be her best with them. But there's no villains, and I think that's really important right now, that we look at each other and find and really treasure the parts of each of us that we feel is worthy of our compassion and love and respect. So that, I think the way this book stretched me is something actually very profound. So I'll tell you more about it in a minute, but just first a little tour of my desk. This is the actual original little guy that became my mascot, and yes, I got obsessed. I had to go get a Barbie tiara online. And of course my mug and my whole little Zen space where I need to kind of just be close to nature but not have a lot of clutter. So anyway, back to the book. One of the things that people have loved about it is the cover. So I learned a lesson that way as well. When I first was presented with the cover, I hated it. It was not what I had in my mind. And people said, Barbara, you're crazy. This is great. And what I went through was a sort of process of seeing that there are parts of your story and your book as a thing that you really need to fight for, because it's a matter of your vision, your integrity. And then there are other things where maybe you need to let go and be open to what someone else is suggesting. So in terms of my advice for the business of being a published author, I think it's to stay open to that line and listen to what others are suggesting. They may actually be your teachers. And then there may be other moments when you need to be very clear. But this whole business of the cover was a real learning process for me, because covers matter. And trying to think of the rest of Teresa's. Well, anyway, the big thing is, why did I write this book? What do I want people to get from it? What is my takeaway? And so I really feel that the message of the book, which is that you need to embrace whatever part of yourself you've neglected or avoided or denied or not believed in or not thought was you, to go there, to go outside your comfort zone and embrace that other part, brings a kind of freedom and capacity to really connect with others. So this is not memoir, but the story of my protagonist is my story as well. And it found its voice through fiction, but I think the message is really universal. So my dream is that no matter what's going on in the world right now, that somehow this can touch people, and that would mean the world to me. So I am hoping you'll reach out, find me on my website, which has a lot of fun stuff about the research I did and pictures of me with an O'Keeffe painting worth $44 million, and I was this close from it, and ways to order the book through whatever vendor you are comfortable with. And I look forward to talking with readers and to having a book that I hope has a long and meaningful life. So thank you so much.